Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to my channel, my name's Craig Neeson. We talk about landscape and fine art photography. We do some opinion style gear reviews as well as some photo techniques out in the field. Those are our traditional videos. This week, we're going to be going through my favorite 12 images of 2021. So for my first photograph, it's Life from a Death in Parkville. This one has a bunch of fungus on the tree. This one was done about a year ago. I really was drawn to the contrast of the snow and the fungus and the bark itself. I like this image. I think there's probably a better, stronger composition, but here's the problem. With snowfall around here, it's hit and miss. So you get out, you make the photos that you can while the snow is still around and hasn't fully melted. That's one of the challenges of photographing in the winter here in Missouri and Kansas. So that's probably why I like this image, is because it has that snow and it's starting to melt on the tree trunk itself. So for the next image, we've got an image of hoarfrost taken here in Parkville. What I love about this image is all the detail in the ice crystal formations and the depth of field that I was able to accomplish by blurring out the background and zooming in to this branch that is just covered in hoarfrost. So for the third image here, we've got a picture that's very close to home, literally steps outside the window here in my office. It's our own cherry tree that flowers in late March, early April every year. And this year we got some really gorgeous buds on it. I was able to get out and do some macro photography using my 70-300 at 95 with a macro lens from Nissi screwed on the front of it. Really love this image. The bokeh, the background is just so perfect. It makes you think, where is this photograph? And literally it's right outside the front door. So photograph number 4 was taken at a conservation area not too far from home in the early spring last year. It's this dead, decaying tree trunk laying on its side with little sprouts that are coming up in early spring. I really like the side light coming into this decaying tree trunk, and the fact that I was able to get in real tight on it and blur out a lot of the distractions of the chaos in the area that I was shooting. And you get to see a little bit of, looks like lichen and some new growth, as well as some spiders that are inhabiting it. I wish that I could have done a little bit better job with the focus stacking, but using my 24mm at 2.8, the focus points are pretty close together on the Nikon D600. Now, if I do go to a mirrorless, I'd have more focus points. I could probably try doing manual focus, but my eyes are not what they used to be. Hence the readers here, and most of the time in the field I'm wearing, I hate to say it, but bifocals. Yeah. Actually, they're transitional progressive lenses, so they're probably more closer to a trifocal. I'm getting old, it sucks. So for photograph number 5, we went all the way up to Custer State Park in South Dakota at the Badlands. We spent a couple weeks out there with Sean and Corrine from the Travels of Red Rover. We're looking forward to meeting up with them again this spring and doing some stuff down in the desert Southwest. We're not exactly sure what the plans are. We're still trying to finalize all that. But this was my favorite wildlife photo from last year. It is a bison in sunlight at Custer State Park. This bison was toying with us as we sat at an RV dump station in my truck trying to get the optimal photo of this bull. He kept going in and out of the light, and I kept going, "Come towards the light, come towards the light." And he finally did, and we all got at least one shot. This is my favorite shot, where he's nicely side lit. He's got catch light in his eyes, which really helps define that this is a living creature. You always want to have catch light in your animal eyes or in people that you're doing portrait work of. Otherwise, the eyes look dead and unfulfilled. Photograph number 6, we've got Photographer on the Hunt. It's a panoramic image that I stitched together from photographs that I took at French Creek in Custer State Park. I love the light. I wish the sky quality would have been better, but it's a very cool scene, which Shelley and I hope to revisit someday. But I don't know if I'll ever get that photographer in the shot with that light on the photographer doing what we all do out there in the landscapes. So for photograph number 7, we visited quite a few waterfalls in the Black Hills over the summer. And this one here at Spearfish Falls is my favorite. Nice little tight image on the falls. A little bit of post-processing involved to get the colors to be like I remember them being in the field. And that's what I do in post-processing. I try to make the image look as realistic to my eye as it did while I was making it in the field. So for image number 8, we've got golden hour at Devil's Tower. It's a gorgeous location. We had set up there to do some astrophotography and a little bit of night photography at the location with Sean and Corrine from Travels of Red Rover. I got this shot just as the clouds are parting a little bit and the golden light from the setting sun fell perfectly on Devil's Tower. It's one of my favorite photos of Devil's Tower. We've actually got a couple more. If you want to go check out that video, there's a link up here and also down in the description below. So photograph number 9 is yet again Devil's Tower, and like I said, the skies had parted in the last one, but the thunderstorms that were causing my migraine that day had moved off to the south and east, and we were still getting these cool lightning strikes behind Devil's Tower. This is my favorite lightning strike that I was able to capture. It was an epic night of photography all around. The 4 of us had It was the most, let's just put it this way, the most fun I've ever had photographing with a migraine was Devil's Tower. And it was the epic weather and the location just came together for a confluence of photography that was just stunning and awe-inspiring. That brings us to photograph number 10. Which again happens to be Devil's Tower. It's roughly the same composition. This is a night sky composition. There was way too much foreground in the original composition, which I showed on the video. So I think this square crop does it a lot more justice. You've got some clouds off in the distance, a little bit of reflected light on them, and a little bit of lightning too in the clouds, as well as the Milky Way coming up over Devil's Tower. This was probably my favorite night sky image from the whole trip. We only shot a couple nights out in the dark trying for that Milky Way core, but it was truly an epic night. So for photograph number 11, we were in the Badlands, and I produced this image after a rather disappointing hunt for compositions with golden hour light. We were driving back along the Badlands Scenic Loop Drive. We pulled off at one of the overlooks and did some photography of the vista. And then I realized that the Scenic Drive Loop actually bowed into an area where you could get Badlands in the foreground and in the background. As I realized that, I started timing how long it took cars to get through the image so that I could calculate the shutter speed that was needed to get the majority of the road lit with a light trail. This is one of my favorite rivers of light photographs that I've done. It's a whole series that I've been working on and will continue to work on, where I find compositions in different locations and build light trails through photographs. Okay, so for my final photograph, it's called Swirl. It's actually at one of the locations for my 12 significant photos project for this year. So I will be going back there. I'll try to get in there. I'll try to find some other compositions. But out of all the photographs that I made last year, this was the one that I liked the most. This is a one drop cascade over a shale drop in a Prairie Creek in the Kansas City area. We have quite a few of these creeks. Some of them are photogenic, some of them are not. This one, when the water is just right, creates gorgeous lines on each one of its falls. This is the only one that I've actually actively found. It's fairly easy to get down to. So, like I said, it will be part of the 12 significant photos project. So stay tuned for more images from that location. I love the little swirl that's going on. I wish I could have gotten a little bit more polarization in the image to filter out some of the glare and then see the bottom of the creek. You can't get a perfect image of the bottom of the creek in most areas because there's a little bit too much sediment being washed down. But all in all, this is my favorite photo that I made last year. Hey, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe button, ding the bell for future notifications, and give me a big thumbs up. We'll see you next time.